Hello, everyone. So happy to have you here with us on our weekly coffee talkie show. Because today we have an amazing topic for you.
It's a great one.
It's a great one.
One of the best.
One of the best. I think it's one of the most important one. And so you want to stay tuned. The reason why is that because today we wanted to talk about why having a good relationship with ourselves is the foundation, the basic, the first thing we need to take care of if we want to achieve a healthy life abroad.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. And we talk about a relationship. Like, it's not, what you say to yourself or what you do or how you behave or what you eat or how you exercise or how you talk to yourself. It's not, all those little things. It's the bigger picture, the whole relationship. How do you treat yourself? How do you see yourself? How do you react when you're doing things? How do you nurture yourself?
And as a single lady, it is so common that so many people tell me, like, have you made a list of what you're looking for in a relationship? Have you made a list of what you look for in a partner? What are you doing to create the relationship that you want? What are you putting yourself out there? And it's like everyone is talking about the external relationships. But I want to invite you, and we are here wanting to invite you, and this is what we're going to talk about today, is how important and why a good relationship with ourselves, first understanding what do we want from ourselves, how do we nurture it, what are we doing for it, what are we expecting from it, is really the foundation for our day-to-day life. And even more, as we said, with everything we talk on every single week here on our podcast, even more when you want to achieve a good, healthy, positive life abroad and create a life you actually enjoy living. And how will you know if you enjoy living it if you don't know how to enjoy time with yourself and having good time with yourself? So that's the topic of today.
So we hope you have your coffee with you or wine if it's late evening. Well, it could be water or tea, whatever you feel like it. Just be with us, and we hope it will be valuable to you. And by the end of this episode, you'll have a better relationship with yourself.
Yes.
So let's begin.
Let's start. Good sip for my coffee. So maybe the first thing we want to discuss today, and the reason why we have this podcast, and let me be super clear with you, because maybe it's the first episode you are listening to and you've never listened to one of the others that we've recorded before. We wanted to put this camera on and the sound here to make sure that you are part of the conversations that Mayan and I are having on, I want to say a daily basis, but we're actually having it on an hourly basis. Like we talk a lot. We love to talk. And if we're not talking voice, we're texting. And if we're not texting, we're sharing stuff. And if we're on so many platforms, but we wanted to give you like this opportunity to just join our conversations. And relationship with ourselves is one of the things we talk about a lot because it is the foundation. And let's go deeper into this.
Yeah, so we call this episode why a good relationship is with yourself is the foundation. So let's see why. Let's dig deep into. We have 3 reasons why this is very, very important. We say foundation because on a good foundation you can build things up without them collapsing after. It's like a building. When you're building a building. Oh, that's interesting. I never thought about it. When you're building a building or a house, let's say a house, it's easier. You need good foundation. You need things that will hold your house if you want it to be stable, if you want it to be strong. So when there's, strong wind or, hurricanes or shit like that happens thanks to global warming now, you need a good foundation if you don't want your house to just wash away with the first rain, you know.
And you know, for I think it was somewhere last year, we talked about this metaphor of self-love, and we can talk about it as a relationship with ourselves. Our core, our what's going on the inside is just as if we talked about the metaphor as if this is the ground we live in. This is the soil that is underneath our feet. And when you're talking about building a house, before you go and do sketches and decide if the house is going to be from concrete or wood or bricks or whatever, you need to know on what ground you're building the house. Like, is this ground a solid one? Will it be able to carry a big house, a small house, a couple of floors? Like, the ground should be adapted for those kind of things. And I think that's where we are here talking to you about it. Everything you do in life, every little thing starts with you. And as scary as it is, and it is scary, it can be like, oh my God, so much pressure. But this is an amazing blessing because it's you. And you are with yourself. And you can control yourself. And you can learn to love yourself. And it's true, it's not something we learn as kids. If you're approximately our age, it's not something we used to talk about 30 years ago.
No.
But it's so important.
Yeah.
And it is the foundation.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, and this is the first reason actually we wanted to talk to you, because at the beginning and in the end, there's you. Like you said, it's the foundation, it's the soil. It's when you're having a hard time, there's you there. When you're having a great time, it's you. When you're feeling sad, when you're feeling lonely, when you're feeling happy, when you're feeling, you know, joy, it all, you know, at the beginning and in the end.
And in the middle.
It's you. In the middle, there can be a lot of people around you. You know, when you're feeling sad about something that happened, that can be, you know, many people around you that feel, you know, come to comfort you. But who is it that feels this emotion? Who has the hell to deal with it? It's you. Then you better know how to, you know, have this relationship with yourself. Maybe let's take an example to make it more clear of why at the beginning and at the end there's you. Okay, so let's take an emotion, for example. Let's give an emotion. Life abroad.
Emotional life. Let's talk about expectations vs reality.
Okay,
so it's something that starts with you.
Yeah.
Because you had an expectation of something.
Yeah,
right?
So you decided to live abroad, you're coming to a new country, you have lots of expectations. Be honest with yourself. I know you do. I had those too. Gal had those too. Totally normal, totally human. We come with expectations, okay?
Yeah.
It's never, you know, zero expectations. We have always some, if not a lot.
And you know, one of the things about expectations, which is funny, is that we think it's based on what other people think, do, said. But actually, we choose what to expect. Because if you are anything like us and you've been Googling obsessively, or you've been reading on Facebook posts like million of things, you know, like we always have this critical eye being like, yeah, this sounds bullshit. Like I'm not, like, this is not something I care about. Ooh, but what she just said, now I expect that. I want this to happen, or I'm afraid this will happen. Expectations can be on both sides, right? Yeah. So expectations are really, again, it's how you decide. What you decide is the expectation, and we do have them. It's very natural.
On the other end, reality, it's not always what you want and what you prepare yourself for or what you expected, okay? Reality is not all about you.
No.
But what happens between this expectation versus reality a lot of time. And for me, this is what I say, for the last couple of years all the time. Where there's expectations and realities, there's frustration in the middle. Because the more you expect, the less it fits reality, the more frustration you have. Okay? The less you expect, the less frustration you'll have.
It doesn't mean you should not have expectations.
No, not at all.
It's just, it just goes back to why a good relationship with yourself is vital, is the foundation. Because if your expectation didn't meet reality and you started to get frustrated, it can go in two opposite directions. If you are in a good relationship with yourself, you can be compassionate, you can be tolerant, you can be forgiving, you can be kind, you can even be loving towards yourself and understanding that it is okay that your expectation didn't meet reality. But if you have a bad relationship with yourself, this is where frustration grows, disappointments, self-doubt, criticism, shame, guilt, and the list can go on.
And even if you have frustration, because to be honest, I have a lot of time frustrations, and it doesn't mean I don't have a good relationship with myself. Sometimes it's true, but not all the time. Even if you're feeling frustration because your expectation did not meet your reality of life abroad, for example, then your relationship with yourself is still, showing, okay, what are you doing with this frustration? Are you getting mad? Are you blaming everyone else? Are you blaming yourself? What are you doing with this feeling, okay? And we said it before in other episodes, what you're feeling is a reflection, of your relationship with yourself as well, but also your beliefs, your values, everything that you have within you. It goes outside.
Yeah. And if you're just joining us right now, just to make sure, we're going to talk, I think after we will tell you the three reasons why it is foundation. I think we're going to go deeper into what do we believe is a good relationship with ourselves.
Yeah.
But so stay with us for that, because I have thoughts and I'm I don't want to keep on off track, but I want to make sure you stay with us to listen, because I think it's important that we will clarify, at least in our belief, what a good relationship looks like. So we said that the first reason why a good relationship with yourself is the foundation to a healthy life abroad is because at the beginning and at the end, it's you. You're the one you should be able to count on, to believe, to enjoy, to work with. You are the one waking up with yourself in the morning. You're the one going to bed with yourself in night. You're the one showering with yourself. You're the one doing good stuff, doing less than enjoyable stuff. It's you with you. Even if you moved abroad with your partner, with a friend, with your kids, with your family, to your family, afar from it.
I think to make it more clear, it's true. Physically you might be surrounded by other people, but the person who is present when you have feelings or thoughts that can go wrong a lot of time, or right. The person that is with you when you're having those feelings and thoughts, it's you. Okay? How many times have you found yourself, in a room surrounded by other people, yet you're in a whole other place in your head, with your thoughts and your emotions, and you're far, far away from this room. It's you with yourself when you're in this place. And a lot of times we see it happen, and we felt it on our own as well. When you move abroad, you're getting out of your support system that you used to have, if you had it. You had your friends, you had your families, you had your routine, okay? your workspace, your boss, your colleagues, it's all a support system that right now you don't have. You don't have this anymore, and you find yourself a lot of time alone, physically alone, but a lot of time also, not surrounded by other people that can reflect to you what you're feeling, that can really support you, that can really help you at the beginning, at least, okay? Until you create yourself another support system. But when you're just moving abroad, you are a lot with yourself, with your thoughts, with your emotions, and it can be really, really scary. But it's also an amazing opportunity, to reconnect with yourself and to rebuild this relationship with yourself.
And I want to add on that we read it, I think, I don't know, about 2 years ago. Someone posted it and I loved it. I don't remember the exact words, but I'll try and reflect that to you. My head is going all direction right now. One of the things that we read, and I can totally relate to that, a lot of times moving to another country is an opportunity to really finally be you. We tend to, for many years, we do things because that's how we used to, that's how our family loves us, that's how our friends are used to see us, that's how we used to work, this is how we used to be with our colleagues, this is how we used to, and people are used to seeing us in a certain way. And it's so hard to change that because, and I'll give you an example. I remember when I used to work in advertising, when I started, I was all in. You want me to work 14 hours a day? Let's go. I have nothing else to do anyway. And the moment I wanted to change that, it was impossible. It was so hard. If I managed barely to leave the office at 8 p.m., people will look at me and be like, "God, what are you doing? It's half day." I'm like, no, people left the office at 4 p.m. Why can't I? Because they put another personality when they first came that I didn't. So it was harder for me to change in an environment that knows you. So if people know you as a spontaneous, funky person and you stop being this, well, it's harder for them. Or if on the other way around, if you have never been spontaneous and funny and suddenly you're trying to be, people will look at you like, what are you trying to do? This doesn't work. When you move abroad, you can decide truly for yourself who you want to be.
Because no one knows you.
Because no one knows.
That's a quote by Hannah Arendt that I can't quote from the top of my head, but I'll put it below if you want the complete quote. And she talks a lot about, the fact that you're living in a place that no one knows you. It can really, then you are able to be your true self. You don't have to hide behind the personality you used to be to please others, to fit into one place. You can really be yourself, and it's an amazing opportunity.
Yeah. And that's where, I shared it yesterday on another podcast, and I love this quote, so I'll share it again. I'm just rephrasing something else. It's not new country, new you, but it's actually new country equal you. But you decide what it is. What is this you version that is coming to this country? Actually, even if you are currently living abroad, you can still make some tweaks and some things. But for that, and let's go back to the conversation, you need to have a good relationship with yourself. You need to be super honest, and you need to be able to look inside and be like, ooh, what do I want to?
Yeah. And again, like you said, we'll come to what is a good relationship with yourself after we'll explain to you why you need it. Because if we don't explain to you why you need it, then you won't be listening to us.
Yeah. So I think we covered the first topic. Let's go to the second reason why we believe a good relationship is the foundation to a healthy life abroad, and
it's actually your relationship with yourself is a mirror is mirrored by your other relationships with others. Okay, so it's a reflection. What you feel with yourself and the relationships you have with friends, with a partner, with your family, it's all reflections of really how your relationship is with yourself. And if this is new to you, then I really invite you to observe right now your external relationships, the relationships you have with the people you are most close to. How are they right now? And you will notice that when you're in a good place with yourself and you're feeling good with yourself, you're like, I got this, then all your relationships suddenly, they feel great. And you know those times and periods in the years, maybe in the months as well, you know, because we're female, then suddenly all your relationships are in a bad place. Like everyone's stupid, talks to you like crap, everyone exaggerates, everybody's being dramatic. Or is it maybe you with yourself?
You know, I'll tell you something. Again, I'm sharing a lot of my single life here today because a lot of this reflect, again, because your relationship with yourself will be reflected in all the relationships and connections you have around you. One of the things I realized at some point, I had like a couple of really bad dates. One after another. It was a couple of years ago. And it's like another bad date, and another bad, and even worse. And even I didn't think I can get worse, but it got worse. A mix of really bad ones. And I tended at the beginning be like, oh, this guy is stupid. This man is horrible. This is a douche. This is this. This is this. And I remember, and my surrounding validated my thoughts. They were all, yeah, he sounds like an asshole. Is this, like, that was the conversation. Until I stopped. I shifted the camera. You'll hear us saying this a lot. And I was like, what is the one common thing between all those bad dates? I was like, there is only one, and it's me. I've met 15 different guys. There was only one thing in common between all those dates, me. So it cannot be them. It can also be, but if I come with a weird version of myself, or if I'm not true to myself, if I'm not authentic, if I'm not in a good, healthy, positive space, what can I expect? And I needed to stop doing whatever I was doing, concentrate back on myself, work on this foundation, because without a foundation, you cannot build a house. You cannot. It will collapse in a minute.
Yeah.
And it's exactly the same thing.
Yeah, and when you're moving abroad and you need to create new relationships, like you're building new houses there, then you need a good foundation when you're building them, because otherwise it will be crap. Sorry. It will be bad relationship. When you're building new relationship on a weak foundation, those are bad relationships for you. It will come back to you all the time.
Bite you in the ass. Be sure of that. Because that's simple. If someone is building a relationship with you because you are in a weak spot, or you become dependent on them, or because you need their validation for everything, or you're doing things only their way because you don't know what is the way you want it to be, or many other things, at some point, it's not going to work for you. And you're going to feel even worse with yourself, and then it will go downhill. When we're talking here about relationship, you probably say yeah, but I have my partner, I have my kids, I'm not looking for a relationship. And we're not talking here only about romantic relationships.
Not only, but
also, but I said not only. It's every connection you make. If you want to find a job, whenever you go, you need a connection with the person that will interview you. You need a connection with your future boss. You need a connection with your future colleagues. And if you will come and feel crap about yourself, this is the vibe that they're gonna get from you. How someone will decide to hire you for a job if you're coming with a really negative appreciation of yourself.
Yeah. You know, and your relationship with yourself is also the guidelines and the the manual, and to how people will treat you bad. Because if you're allowing yourself, for example, to speak to yourself, to talk to yourself bad things, like saying things like, and guilty as well sometimes, oh, I'm so stupid, oh, I'm always late. If you're saying things like that, then no wonder other will speak exactly the same to you, because this is what you allow yourself to say. So people will, well, if this is how she treats herself, then I can do it as well. Then people will say, oh, you're always late, or you're stupid, and don't be surprised, because this is the guidelines that you gave them. Okay? And sometimes we do that without noticing and without paying attention. And if it happens to you, then don't bite yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. It happens when, we're on the go and we're trying new things and we're moving abroad and it's all chaos, and that's okay. Okay? But now, when you're listening to us, try to think of what are the guidelines that you're showing others. How do you want to be treated? How do you want to be talked to? How do you want people to behave to you?
Yeah.
Show them the example. Do that to yourself as well.
Do that to yourself first, so they know how to do it for you. How can you, as Mayan just said, how can you expect, going back to expectation and frustration for a moment, how can you expect someone to treat you a certain way if you are not willing to treat yourself this way? And actually, if you are not willing to treat yourself this way, you're not treating others this way as well. Because we are mirrors of everything and everyone around us. So if you are talking badly to yourself, you're probably talking badly to others as well, which is no surprises that you are being talked badly to you again. That's how it works. And when we understand that it's that simple, that we are full-on mirrors of one another, and it's true with as any relationship, with your partner, with your kids, with your family, with your friends, with your colleagues. That's what we, I have this saying, be the energy you want to attract. If you want to attract something different, you need to first be this yourself. And if you will be this yourself, this is what you will share with others. And therefore, because everyone's a mirror, you will get it back.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so important. I gotta say, if you're a mom also, the relationship we have with our kids is so much affected by our relationship with ourselves. And when moving abroad, if you have kids right now, you'll see they really, really need this relationship to be a good one, and you need it as well, because your kids, you're worrying about them. Maybe you wonder how they'll fit in, how they'll feel belong, how school's going to go, all those technical things, but they really need their mom, and they really need a good relationship with you right now, and they need you, but you also need yourself. Okay? So, and I saw that with my kids when we moved, how this relationship worked really, really good when I was in a good place. And when I'm not, I yell at them. I get angry at them. I get frustrated about things that they do. And for me, luckily for me, I know, and I noticed that, I'm doing that. It's a mirror to me and myself. And a lot of times I catch myself at time before I yell. Sometimes it's not working. But I immediately, Gal said, shift the camera. And, okay, what's wrong with me right now? Why am I frustrated with myself right now? It's not them. It's not them. Really. Think about it and be honest. Again, honesty is key here. When you're frustrated about your kids, is it really your kids? Or is it you? Or something happened with you?
And it's very vulnerable what we're sharing with you here. And you might say like, yeah, but this boss and the kids and the friend, but a big part, and as we said, we're going to talk later about what a good relationship in our belief is, but a big part of it is being vulnerable and being honest. Because being able to shift the camera back to us and take responsibility for whatever we're doing in life is hard. It's so much easier to say, well, it's their fault. They're stupid. They've done this. They've done that. They deserve it. It's harder to be honest, as man said, and be like, what are you frustrated about with yourself? What are you angry about towards yourself? Why do you feel certain way? What happened? What triggered you today? And it's only then that you will be able to put the foundation right. Because otherwise, well, your ground will fall apart every single time something a little harder will happen because you don't have a foundation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you said earlier, and we wrote it down so we don't forget. Yes, we're learning as we go. We said a quote that I love. And if you know us a little, you know we're Disney fans. Okay, that's part of who we are. That's part of my great relationship with myself. It has to come with Disney. And there is this quote from Mulan, the movie. Christina Aguilera sang this song in the movie that says, "When will my reflection show who I am inside?" And it's funny because you offered me a mirror. I think it was like 7 years ago. It's right there in my living room. A tiny mirror with a note on it, and this is the quote that was on the note. And even though it's just a note on the mirror, I didn't I will always keep this mirror, but I mainly will keep the note because this sentence of when will my reflection show who I am inside is so deep, but amazing. And thank you, Disney, for putting out there great quotes like that.
Yeah, and I think, getting philosophy on Disney, I think when will my reflection show who I am inside? Always. It's always showing you who you are inside. The real question is, are you willing to look in this mirror? Are you willing to really, deep down look there? Because this is you right now. And even better than that, I'll say, are you enjoying what you're seeing, in the mirror? Because as you said, when will my reflection show where I am inside? Actually, all the time. We reflect all the time what's going on inside of us. But the thing is, most of the time, we don't look. We prefer not to. We look beyond. How many times have you walked by a mirror and you just walked by? You didn't look at yourself. Thousands of times. All the time.
All the time. All the time.
Yeah.
And there is an important thing, and that's one of the first self-love tools that you can do is start to look at yourself truly in the eyes as you are, fully naked, whatever you feel like it. Stop in front of a mirror and look at yourself and appreciate the person you are. And if you don't appreciate the reflection you see, then it's time to make some changes about your relationship with yourself.
Yeah, and if you're looking at your relationships around you, your friends, your family, your partner, your kids, and you don't like what you see, don't try to change your relationships. First, try to change something within you in your relationship with yourself, and you'll see it will immediately change all your relationships around you.
Yeah,
it works like magic, and we have tons of examples of how it worked. When we're in a good place with ourselves, this is how our relationships look like. And I know, for example, last week I was in a bad place with myself. I fought with my mom, with my sister, with my friend, with my husband, with my kids. I fought with everyone. But at the end of the week, I was like, what's going on? What happened? Why aren't you happy with yourself? It always come back to your relationship with yourself.
Yes, because again, there is one common thing to everything you do in life. And it goes back to what we said as the first point of why it's important. It starts and it ends with you. Like
sometimes it's shit, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, me again? Yeah, you again. And sometimes it's frustrating. It's scary. But the good news is, if it's you, then you can change it. You can't change anyone. You can't control others. It's not yours to do. But you can change everything you want. Yeah. You are in control of this phenomenal thing.
I have the song of Taylor Swift in my head. Yay, it's me. The problem, it's me. Yes, because it starts there. And that's the amazing thing, and it's the best gift we can ever give you. You have yourself. You have full control on your brain, on your body, on your mindset, on your desires, on your dreams. It's you.
Yeah.
And once you understand that you can do whatever you want with yourself, you can change everything from scratch.
No. It's harder.
But it's possible.
It's possible. And you know what? It's easier to blame others and say that they're shit, I don't want this relationship. It's easier. But it's much more beneficial to go inside and to change yourself so you can improve your other relationships. Yeah. And this way you win twice, yourself and others.
Yeah. And I'll tell you that, like, a friend of mine, back in the days, she started similar as what you just described, like fighting with so many of her relationships. She had a big fight with her boss, and then like a couple of good friends of hers stopped being friends with her, and she kept on going like this. And she's like, yes, but she was doing this and the E was doing that, and the guy that I'm dating, we broke it off because it's not possible, and blah, blah. And I said to her a couple of times, but take a look, like if it would be one problematic relationship, then I would say, yes, you're two in this. It can come from both sides. But if it's becoming something that is more
a pattern.
A pattern. You're losing relationship, you're losing friends, you're fighting more with people, then there might be, in my opinion, 100%, but I couldn't say that at the time, that something is about how you approach things, how you see things, what is the reflection that you're bringing, what is your mirror right now, and it's the mirror of your own relationship with yourself. And actually, I lost this friend. Unsurprisingly, I was part of the pattern. It was like just the next relationship that she was about to lose, because that's the thing. Like, and at some point, the work has to come from within.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll go back to just give you a quick recap. The first reason why it is so important to have a good relationship with yourself, if you want to have a good, healthy life abroad, the first reason was it starts and ends with you. You start there. You need to be able to believe in yourself, to know your capabilities, to enjoy your thoughts, to enjoy your time. The second reason was, if you're not in a good relationship with yourself, it's harder to make good relationship with external people, and you need those when you live abroad for so many reasons. So those were the two things. Let's go on reason number 3.
Yeah.
You want to share it?
Yep. So when your relationship with yourself really affects your decision making. Okay, when you're making decision based on a bad relationship with yourself, those will be less good for you. But if you're in a good place with yourself, happy with your relationship with yourself, then the decision you are taking are much
they're better for you.
More happy, more joyful, more beneficial to you, and that's healthier, by the way.
That's healthier. And it's more suitable to you and your needs. Because when you think of yourself as something good, then you want better things for yourself, right? It's like that's simple.
And I don't know if you ever experienced it, but think about it for a moment. How many times have you made a decision when you're angry or frustrated or sad, or in the middle of a chaos? Then you make a quick decision of, doing something, and then you regret it like immediately. How many times did it happen to you? Guilty. Happens a lot, because when we are making decisions from fear or anger or sad or hate or,
guilt and shame and...
Oh, I hate guilt and shame. Guilt and shame are, it's a sign of bad relationship with yourself.
Yes.
When you're feeling guilty and shame. So when you're making decision based on that, when this is the foundation, the house you're building on it, then you look at it, that's an ugly house. I hate this house. And now you have to live in it. So that's a shame.
Yeah.
So don't do that. That's not healthy, because sometimes those are small decisions and not very important, and it's okay to take those sometimes. But sometimes you're making big life decision based on a bad relationship you have with yourself, and you might regret it, like really regret it.
I want to share with you an example that happened to me again a couple of years ago. I was like, at some point I was working in advertising and I realized I need to quit. Like, it was that clear that it's time. Like, I cannot do this anymore. But I was in the crappiest place ever. I was so low, confidence could mop the floor, basically. That's how high it was. I felt stressed all the time. I felt tired all the time. I was anxious. I felt like I'm worthless, like I cannot do anything. And I was about to quit. At that time, I was in such a bad place, and I was like, well, if this is it, I'm done. And one of the best advice I got at the time was quit, but when you're on a high. Quit when everyone will remember you as a great employee. When everyone will remember your smile, your energy, because this is who you are. You want to be remembered as the first day you came to this office and everyone loved you, and not as the one who's been crying in the corridors for weeks. And thank God she left. Like, you don't want to be that. And that's what I've done. Again, shift the camera, go deep inside. I worked on myself for 6 months until I quit. And when I quit, the CEO of the company, and I'm talking to you about the biggest advertising agency in Israel, came to me and he was like, who allowed you to quit? And I felt so confident and so strong that I looked at him, the fucking CEO, and I said to him, I'm so happy you asked. I allowed myself to quit, and I'm super damn proud of that. And if at some point I want to come back, I know you'll hire me again. And he smiled and he was like, yes, of course. You'll always be welcome. And the reason why I'm sharing it with you here is that when you, as you said, like when you make a decision from a very low, bad relationship with yourself, it's never going to be a good decision for you. Never. Whether you're going to find yourself binge eating in front of Netflix or sending weird messages, which I've done in the past, to a lot of different people out of stress, out of shame, out of guilt, out of discomfort, those cannot be good for you.
Even a decision of moving abroad, if it's based on fear or stress or anger, like, I hate it here, I want to move, Don't move because you're hating this place. Move because you want to try something new. Because you're in a great place and you want to evolve. Because you want a new adventure. Because you want new opportunities. Because you're looking forward, not because you're running away.
Yeah.
So that's regarding move abroad. And, you know, we moved a lot. But this last move we both worked on ourselves, on building a great relationship with each other as well, but everyone about with herself. Then we moved. Then we moved from a good place. We made a decision we are proud of and not one we are regretting. Okay? And it's very, very important.
Yes.
So I think...
So those are the three, at least in our belief,
Yeah.
the three reasons why having a good relationship with yourself is the foundation to a healthy, positive life abroad. You really want to make sure you get that and you work on that, on your relationship with yourself before and during all the rest. Like, you need to have that, and I think it's crucial.
Yeah, and if right now you're thinking, hey girls, you promised you're going to say, what is a good relationship with yourself? What does this mean? Like, it's nice that you're talking here. Then yeah, maybe it's time for us to share what we believe is a good relationship with ourselves, because you might be surprised or not. We didn't always had a good relationship, not with each other and not with ourselves as well. And this is something we worked on actively because we decided we want to improve our relationship with ourselves, because we believe, like we said before, this is the foundation, okay, of a lot of things, but especially of life abroad. So, do you want to start?
Actually, before I start, I want to share with you. So we have this amazing, if you're watching us, we have this amazing book. You got it to me, you got it to yourself as well. That is called For Thinkers and Feelers, Self-Love Poetry. And it's by Melody Godfred. And like, one of the things I love about this book, because we're going to talk to you about self-love in a second, because you can imagine that a good relationship with yourself involves self-love. It's part of it. So I would just pick something and read it to you, because I think
it's really interesting, because in every page that you open, if you're not watching us there, then you have two pages in front of you. You know, the left brain and the right brain, the thinkers and the feelers. And I love it.
And I love it because for those of you who saw me, I literally opened a completely random page. For those of you who are listening, you got to believe me, or go and watch the YouTube. And the left brain, this thinker's text that is here, goes as follow. You're going to love it. I didn't realize I was homesick until I came home to myself.
I love it.
I love it because it's like, hey, life abroad, right? So this is the thinkers, and the feelers, the right brain version is, I unknowingly left pieces of myself behind along the way. I used to think this meant I had lost myself. Now I realize they were crumbs left behind so I could find my way back when I was ready to choose myself.
Ooh,
I have goosebumps.
I just love this, book. I'm not that, a poetry girl, it's not my favorite thing. But when I saw this book, I immediately bought it for both of us, because we were, really in the middle of improving the relationship we have with ourselves. And self-love is such an important part of a relationship. You can't, in our belief, you can't have a good relationship with yourself if you don't love it. It's like I like you. It's not like you're nice. You gotta love it. You gotta love what you see to have a good relationship there. And it takes time to get there. And you do need those crumbs so you can come back to yourself, Hansel and Gretel style. But you need to come back there. And for me, it took me, I don't know, 5 years, this of going after the crumbs until I came back to myself, to a point where I can look in a mirror and say, hey, kind of love this one. It's not true all day. It's not for every day. Sometimes I pass by a mirror and say,
but
I don't like you.
I'll say to you something again. I will combine, because we talk a lot about love regarding other people.
And we'll put the link to the
we'll put the link to the book, and so go and check it out. It's an amazing one. We talk a lot about love to other people, and one of the things a lot of people will say is, when you love someone, you love them for their qualities and their flaws. You don't always peak. Like, you don't say, I love you only when you're funky and fun and amazing and spontaneous. No, you love them for all their qualities and their flaws. That's what real love is about. And if this is what real love is about towards others, then same goes when what you just said about the mirror. Some days you look at yourself and all you see is flaws and stress and overwhelm and frustration. And you gotta love yourself on those days too. Even when it's harder, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you wish you could tell yourself, go out the door, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Well, you can. And going back to why it's so important to have this good relationship with your foundation, because you cannot get rid of yourself. Like, you're there, even when you don't like it.
Yeah.
So better learn to love yourself with your qualities and your flaws.
Yeah, and that's the place to be, compassionate about yourself and honor who you are. This is who you are. Stop trying to change everything, How many times are you looking in your mirror and say, oh, I need Botox. I need, to dye my hair. I need to lose 5 kilos. I need to do that. Why are you trying to change everything all the time? Like, okay, this is who I am today. My hair is getting gray here. Can you see it? And I have wrinkles, and my 2 ears are not the same. And those are physical examples. But sometimes when you look at a mirror, you see all your flaws. The stress and I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have yelled, and I shouldn't got angry. And well, this is what happened. It is what it is. What can you do,
So if we have to tell you in our belief what a good relationship with ourselves look like, for me, it starts with self-love. And self-love includes in it like compassion and kindness and forgiveness. Being able to forgive myself for a thing I've done, as you just said. Like, sometimes you've done something and you feel crap about it, but it is what it is. Honoring who I am and being able to forgive myself for things that I've done or things that I haven't done and I wished. And that's where it starts to be a good relationship. When I can look at myself and be like, okay, it wasn't your best day. You can do better.
It doesn't mean you're never improving or never changing yourself. Not at all. It's the place from where you want to change. Are you changing things in yourself because you really don't love them? Or do you want to grow from a place of love, of appreciation of yourself, of acceptance? This is who I am right now, and from there I can grow. It's not I hate who I am, I want to be someone else. You can't really grow from there.
Yeah.
Okay?
So this would be, like, for me, a good relationship with myself is one that I am nurturing self-love and whatever it includes that I just described. And that I listen to myself and my needs and my desires, and I am committed to myself, and I think of myself it doesn't make me selfish, but it makes me responsible for who I am, for my well-being, for my health, for my desires and my dreams. So this would be my 3 things to make a good relationship for myself. What
Yeah.
would it be for you?
What she said. No. I'm gonna say self-love, of course, and honoring this place and accepting that this right now, this at the present moment, this is it, and grow from there. So growth for me is another aspect of having a good relationship, because a relationship, it evolves, all the time, and then you have to accept that this is who you are and it's gonna change. So you're changing all the time as well, and that's okay. It's not like, oh, I want to be like I was when I was 15. That's not true, but how many women do you hear say, I want to have the same body before my kids, or at how I was in my wedding, or how I was at 23? Come on, that's not realistic. You're not the same person. Accept who you are right now, honor that, love that, and from that place evolve and grow and change all the time. Change is part of life. Nothing is forever. Nothing is forever. So self-love, growth, acceptance, that's for me, and
I'll add to that, to everything we just said, communication. We're talking a lot about communicating to others, but how you are communicating with yourself, towards yourself, what you want, what you believe, what you think of, the words you're choosing, the intonation you're using, this is so important for a good relationship with yourself. And the same way that if you currently have your loving partner sitting by your side, or if you're looking for him like me, or if you have your kids or your friends or your family, you will want to talk to them in a compassionate way. You want to communicate with them. You want to listen what are their wants and their needs. Do the same for you. This is the ground.
And take care of yourself, whatever that means to you.
Yeah.
It can be taking care of your body by exercising and eating well. It can be taking the time to just sit and do nothing. Just, daydream or think or meditate. It really doesn't matter. You can pray if you want. I don't care. It's you. It's about you. It's about you taking care of yourself, because you are important, because you love yourself, because you matter to yourself. Because let me tell you a secret. No one else will do that for you. No one will ever care for you like you do. You are the most important person in your life. You should be the one that cares the most about how you feel, what you do, what you eat, how you exercise, how you sleep, how you talk to yourself, what you do in your day-to-day, how frustrated you are, what are your desires. It's you that should care about all those things. Don't wait for someone else to take care of those, to take care of you. Do it for yourself. And you know what? Interesting thing is, when you take care of yourself, then you have a huge amount of energy to take care of others as well. So it really doesn't make you selfish to love yourself, to take care of yourself, to honor who you are. It doesn't make you selfish, because if this is me right now thinking, ooh, I can't love myself, I'm not selfish, I can't take care of myself, I'm not selfish, then I have a news for you. If you're not taking care of yourself, and you're giving the responsibility to your life, your own well-being to others, then it doesn't make you good as well. It's kind of missing the point. How can you give, all the credit to someone else to do that for you? It certainly won't happen the way you really want it to happen.
Yeah. And if you feel like you need to be in a surrounding environment that is like-minded, and you can talk about those things more freely in a non-judgmental way, then please join our weekly live sessions inside LaPlace, just go www.smoothietive.com/LaPlace and you'll have all the information there. But the idea is that we meet every single week with women from all over the world to talk about those things, about hope and emotions and self-love and what can we do to improve, and growth and kindness and life abroad and mindset and everything that is in between. And we talk about that in such an amazing environment of women that care for themselves, that want the life they deserve, that make the efforts and take the actions. And this is such a powerful environment. We'll love those weekly sessions. So if you feel like you need to be in an environment like that where you can bloom really and truthfully and take care of yourself even better, then we would be more than happy to have you in the next session.
Yes, absolutely. So I hope, we hope it was valuable to you and that you are going to work on your relationship with yourself to make it one that really suits you, and you can benefit from.
Yeah. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you have any questions about what we talked about today, just reach out to us in the comments, in the DM. We're here. We wish you an amazing day, and we'll see you next week for another episode.
Bye.
Bye.